In April 2003, the Iraqi capital had fallen, and the Ba'athist regime had collapsed into chaos. Yet, the architects of a 30-year reign of terror remained at large. To bring them to justice, the United States Central Command issued a unique identification tool that would become one of the most iconic images in modern military history: a deck of playing cards featuring the faces of the 55 most wanted members of the regime. While Saddam Hussein was the ace of spades, the hunt for his inner circle revealed a stark contrast in loyalty, survival instincts, and ultimate fate. Today, we examine the divergent paths of two men who stood at the pinnacle of that power structure. One, a brutal enforcer known to the world as Chemical Ali, and the other, the polished diplomat who served as the regime's voice to the West, Tariq Aziz. Following the fall of Baghdad, the coalition forces faced a critical challenge: dismantling the leadership network that could potentially fuel an insurgency. As we explored in our previous analysis, Saddam's sons, Uday and Qusay, chose to resist until the bitter end in a villa in Mosul. However, the dismantling of the regime required locating the remaining figures on the deck of cards. Today, we will examine the events that led to the capture of the King of Spades, Ali Hassan al-Majid, and the Eight of Spades, Tariq Aziz. These two men represented the dual nature of Saddam's dictatorship, the iron fist of domestic repression, and the velvet glove of international diplomacy. Their stories, one ending in a quiet capture after a faked death, and the other in a calculated surrender, provide a comprehensive view of how the most feared government in the Middle East finally unraveled. To understand the urgency behind the hunt for the King of Spades, one must first understand the depth of his notoriety. Ali Hassan al-Majid was not merely a cousin of the dictator. He was the instrument of the regime's most extreme violence. As a member of the Revolutionary Command Council, he earned the chilling moniker Chemical Ali for his role in the Anfal campaign of 1988. His authorization of gas attacks against the Kurdish population in Halabja resulted in the deaths of thousands of civilians, cementing his status as a war criminal in the eyes of the international community. For coalition forces, his capture was a symbolic necessity. Interestingly, the hunt for Majid was initially believed to be over before it truly began. In April 2003, during the initial invasion, British and American intelligence identified his location in Basra. A precise airstrike leveled his suspected compound, and initial reports confidently declared that the King of Spades had been eliminated. However, this assumption proved premature. Majid had survived. Utilizing the chaos of the invasion, he vanished into the complex tribal networks of rural Iraq. Unlike many other high-ranking officials who fled toward the Sunni Triangle or the Syrian border, Majid leveraged his deep connections within the security apparatus to remain mobile. Intelligence reports eventually began to surface indicating that the Ghost of Basra was still active, attempting to organize remnants of the Fedayeen Saddam to harass coalition supply lines. The realization that such a high-value target remained at large intensified the search operations. Special forces teams began scrutinizing the loyalist networks that were sheltering former regime members. Despite his fearsome reputation, Majid's operational space was shrinking. The fear he once commanded was being replaced by the allure of the rewards placed on his head, and the realization among his protectors that the old era was truly over. If you are finding this historical breakdown valuable, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us uncover more stories like this. Now, let's see how the hunt ended. By August 2003, the intelligence picture had sharpened. Unlike the violent standoff that claimed Saddam's sons in Mosul, the end for Chemical Ali would come not with a bang, but with a surprising lack of resistance. On August 17th, acting on specific actionable intelligence, American forces surrounded a private residence in the city of Samarra. Leading the operation, coalition troops prepared for a significant firefight, given Majid's history of violence. However, the man who had ordered the gassing of villages was found without a security detail capable of resistance. He was pulled from his hiding place wearing traditional Arab robes, looking significantly older and more haggard than his official portraits. His capture was confirmed through extensive forensic analysis, contrasting sharply with the initial reports of his death months prior. The arrest of the King of Spades sent a ripple through the insurgency. It demonstrated that even those presumed dead or deeply entrenched in the tribal fabric could not escape the systematic dragnet spreading across the country. While the military hunted the enforcers, a different drama was unfolding regarding the regime's political face. Tariq Aziz, the Eight of Spades, presented a unique profile within the deck. As a Christian in a Sunni-dominated hierarchy and the long-serving foreign minister, Aziz was the man the West knew best. He was the articulate English-speaking diplomat who defended the invasion of Kuwait and debated UN inspectors on global television. Following the fall of the capital, Aziz vanished, but his calculation was different from that of al-Majid. He was not a military commander with a Fedayeen army at his disposal, nor did he have the tribal protection that shielded the Tikriti clan. He was a statesman in a collapsing state, suffering from poor health. Aziz understood the geopolitical reality better than perhaps anyone else in the inner circle. He recognized that flight to a neighboring country was unlikely to succeed, given his high profile. Instead of waiting to be hunted down in a spider hole or a farmhouse, he initiated a negotiation. Through intermediaries, Aziz sought to secure the safety of his family, arranging for them to find refuge in Jordan. On April 24, 2003, just 2 weeks after Baghdad fell, Tariq Aziz voluntarily surrendered to American forces. There was no raid, no gunfire, and no hiding. He walked into custody, wearing a tailored suit, maintaining the veneer of the diplomat, even as he became a high-value prisoner. His surrender was a pivotal moment, signaling to the world that the political apparatus of the Ba'ath Party had officially ceased to function. The capture of these men was merely the prelude to a long and complex judicial process. The Iraqi High Tribunal was established to try the former leadership for crimes against humanity. The courtroom behavior of Majid and Aziz further highlighted their disparate characters. Ali Hassan al-Majid remained defiant to the end. Appearing in court often in traditional dress and a red keffiyeh, he refused to recognize the legitimacy of the tribunal. When confronted with witnesses from the Kurdish genocide or the suppression of the 1991 Shia uprising, he showed no remorse. He argued that his actions were necessary military decisions to preserve the state's security. Over the course of several trials, he received 4 separate death sentences. In contrast, Tariq Aziz appeared as a shadow of his former self. The man who once commanded the podium at the United Nations now sat in the defendant's box, often wearing pajamas, his health visibly deteriorating. His defense relied on the argument that he was a political figure, not a military one, and that he did not have direct authority over the violent actions of the security services. Nevertheless, the court found him guilty for his role in the execution of merchants and the forced displacement of Kurds. Justice was ultimately served, though in different forms. Ali Hassan al-Majid was executed by hanging in January 2010. His death was celebrated by many in Iraq, particularly in the Kurdish north and the Shia south, as the closing of a dark chapter. Tariq Aziz, however, met a different end. Condemned to death, his sentence was never carried out. President Jalal Talabani, a Kurd himself, refused to sign the execution order for the elderly Christian diplomat. Aziz languished in prison in Nasiriyah for over a decade. He died in June 2015 at the age of 79 following a heart attack. His death in custody marked the quiet, unceremonious end of the man who had been the global voice of Saddam's Iraq. The fates of Ali Hassan al-Majid and Tariq Aziz serve as a microcosm of the regime's collapse. One, a symbol of brutality, was hunted down and executed. The other, a symbol of complicity, surrendered and withered away in confinement. Their removal from the board did not instantly solve Iraq's problems, but it irrevocably signaled the end of a dynasty that had shaped the Middle East for decades. What aspects of this historical event do you find most significant? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're interested in learning more about this period in Middle East history, make sure to subscribe for our upcoming video on the capture of Saddam Hussein himself. Wishing peace and tranquility for all people around the world. Until the next video, farewell.